Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Season 12, Episode 14 on Borrowed Time. So we're just going to get on into it. Yeah, got a few things to discuss in this episode. So the first couple I want to talk is we're going to start with Thomas and Paula. Okay, so in this episode, Thomas and Paula, as remember what happened last week. You remember Thomas was flipping over the perfume smell again, and also Paula's family's coming in for the wedding, and they're all going to be staying at the small apartment that they have. Well, in this episode, Thomas and Paula are still fighting, arguing over space. Basically, they're arguing over what space, like who's going to sit where, tables being small, who's going to sleep where, and all that good stuff. And he's really micromanaging things a lot. Now, last week, we were a lot of people in the comments section. I said last week that Paula should respect Thomas's like allergies to the perfume and everything. Now, a lot of people said that they didn't believe Thomas that he's allergic to the perfume or whatever. So, but Paula took to Instagram this week and said that she did not know nothing about the perfume, his allergic and being allergic to the perfume and stuff. So now that changes my thought process about it, because I actually thought in the first episode when he mentioned it that he did say that he was allergic to the perfume and did mention it before they started filming and stuff, but I guess I was wrong. So that changes my perspective on it, because just based on how he was acting in this episode. So they're arguing over space and everything, but they eventually get the space. And so finally Paula's family arrives to the apartment, and they arrive, the kids like greeted their Uncle Tom and everything, and it was cute. But then they get inside the apartment, and Thomas just starts laying down the rules. He had a lot of rules. He was just like, okay, the the parents get to sleep here, the kids here, blah blah blah. Um, no running around, and here was the big one: there is no perfume, no spraying of deodorant perfume. And he was like, not even have any soap perfume. Now, I did not know that they make a soap perfume, like perfume into soap or whatever. And the family was just like, wait, what? We can't have soap? Like, we need soap to wash and everything. And they were like, can we use soap to wash the babies? Because we have to. He's like, yes, yes, yes. That was fine because they don't have perfume and that kind of soap for the babies. And it was like, okay, weird and stuff and everything. So there was that. Of course, take off your shoes when you come into the apartment. That's normal. That's a lot of people do that. That's fine and everything. So the next day rolls around. Everybody survived the first night there, and they go into the refrigerator the next day, and Thomas has a lot of rotten, spoiled meat left in the in the refrigerator freezer that he has not eaten. Now we all know Paula is a vegan, but Thomas, and she respects the fact that Thomas isn't, but I guess he's bought a lot of meat that was in there for like 2 months, and he has to do throw it out and stuff. So everybody was just like, wait, like this is disgusting. So then Paula was just like, you know what, with one bathroom and everything, and the kids running around, maybe Thomas was right. Maybe 8 people was too much to handle in this apartment. But Thomas was still like really micromanaging. When he woke up and went into the guest room to say good morning, he was like, please don't have the suitcases on the bed and his section and everything. And Paula's brother's just like, he is crazy. Like, so they all go out, they all take a walk like out on the pier area or whatever. And Paula just expresses her concerns about, since they only got like a few days left before they get married. Paula expresses her concerns about it, and her brother was just like you got to really be sure, and it doesn't look like you're sure because Thomas seems like he's he is a lot, basically. So yeah, so she's like, yeah, you know what, Paula made an interesting comment. She was like, Thomas is a gift from the universe, but he's not going to always be my universe, basically. And I love him, but is this love really enough? And I'm not sure if I'm 100% to get married, and just basically how he's acting. And so, my opinion with that, okay, it is Thomas's house, and he has every right to set every ground rule there is. Like, there's no debating that he can set every ground rule there is. However, however, I do think he can get just a little bit overboard with that. He was raising his voice at Paula. I didn't like how he was raising his voice. He does get defensive really easily, in my opinion. So yeah, but they're supposed to get married in 5 days. I do think they walk down that aisle, but yeah. But now my perspective on the manner changes because he should have told Paula about the perfume, his allergic thing, perfume, being allergic to the perfume smell before she came here, which I thought he did. I thought he mentioned that he did in the first on the first episode, but I guess he didn't. So yeah. So that was Thomas and Paula. The next couple I want to talk is Marissa and Edward. So Marissa and Edward. So we all the last few weeks it's just been constant doubts of Marissa this whole time, but and not 100% sure if she's going to want to get married to Edward. Now, in this episode, they're actually getting along for once. They're getting along, and Marissa takes Edward to one of her little workout classes, and so they get into a small debate because she does some really hard like workouts with the girls and stuff, and she said that, and they do. And she's basically she called it a bar instructor. She's a bar instructor, and she suggested that Edward take the lightest weights when they do this class, but he wanted to take like the 12-pound weights and stuff and everything. And he was like, I got it. She's like, okay. He doing the class. She starts the class. He's doing the class, and he is struggling, as I probably would too. I would struggle too. He was struggling. So he took. Oops, sorry. He took. So he was like moping and groaning. She kept on trying to give him some pointers. It kind of reminded me like a little workout scene in the movie. Forgetting Sarah Marshall when they went to go take the yoga class and stuff, and the instructor was like guiding Russell Brand's character out of snow in that movie. So it kind of reminded me of that and stuff and everything. So when he was done, he was like, "Ooh, I'm tired, baby. I'm tired." And she's like, "Yeah, I told you. And now what you can do, you can help me clean up." He's like, "Great." So she helps clean up. They have a little conversation. They're getting along. They also apparently bought a new puppy as well. So that's pretty cool. So then later, Marissa and Edward, they actually decide to go out on a romantic dinner. They're getting married. I think they only got like a week left and stuff. And yeah, they just want to have a good night out. So they go to this romantic restaurant, and Edward bought like a little gin and tonic drink, and Marissa just like, let's just have fun. Let's just let loose and have fun tonight and everything. Not worried about everything. But Edward, this time Edward gave Marissa a taste of her own medicine in this episode, and I was for it because at dinner, Edward was just like, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and she was just like, no, baby, let's just enjoy the night. Let's just enjoy the night. Like, if we enjoy the night, I'll even get a drink with you, and this, and that. He was just, no, I just want to be honest. She was like, okay, be honest. Like if I'm happy right now. I feel like if you cheat on me, that's on you, your loss. If I cheat on you, that's on me, my loss and stuff and everything. Marissa took that so hard. She was like, "Oh my god!" Like I didn't want to have these like. She was like, "There's a time and a place for these serious conversations, and this is just not it right now." So she gets up and storms up, and she was just like, "Why do you want to have this conversation right now?" Right now, and he was like, "I'm having this conversation because we need to have it." And she was like, and everything, and then she told him to lower your voice. and give him attitude and lower your voice and stuff and everything. Because Edward was just like, you just don't want to have this conversation right now because it's not on your time. And she's like, lower your voice to me and everything. I'm like, oh, here we go again. So now she and then she's going to tell us and say, oh, I was just about to tell Edward how I'm actually am ready to get married 100% sure, but now I'm just back at square one, basically. Yeah, I don't believe her. I don't believe her. She's just saying that because like he got on her nerves in this episode, and I don't believe her. Now, normally I would take Marissa's side on this matter, but the thing is, I think in this particular case, she kind of got the taste of her own medicine because she did that to him the entire season. Now that he finally flipped the script on her, she can't handle it. So she got a taste of her own medicine because there was just plenty of times throughout the season where Edward just wants to chill, relax, enjoy each other's company, and everything. But she always wanted to have this serious conversation saying that, oh, I'm not 100% sure, yada yada yada. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, blah blah blah, and everything. But as Edward was just saying, I'm happy, but if you make the wrong choices, that's on you. That's basically all he was saying. But she took offense to that. So, but I mean, so now we're back at square one. Now she's going to go back to, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get married and everything. We'll see next week the continuation of it. But she's going to go back to having doubts about this. Now, rumor has it that there's a possibility that they actually may not be together. Now, I don't know if that's. I don't know. I guess like Edward has like got some baseball gigs since because he loves baseball. He's been doing a lot of coaching with baseball. But people are saying that him and Marissa might not be together right now. Can't say I'm surprised, but I mean, we don't know. That's just allegedly. Now we'll find out at when the tell-all comes and everything. But a lot of people like to put the sport rumors out there and everything, but it's not confirmed. And normally I don't like doing that. So yeah. But moving on. But that was Marissa and Edward. The next couple I'm going to talk is Katie and Josh. So Katie, after her little this is a shame. Last week, before she had her bachelorette party, her and Josh had the system ground rules of no cheating, no kissing, no throwing up, no getting drunk, like no falling over, this, and that, and everything. That is a shame for you to have to tell your fiance not to do that. And I should have mentioned that last week, and I didn't. But it's really a shame for that. So Katie, in this episode, Katie says she checked off all those lists. She didn't make out with nobody. She didn't get drunk. She didn't fall over. Check, 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 check. Wow, good job, Katie. Good job. Good job. You actually know how to be normal for once. So, but remember where we left off. She wants to have an open marriage. And so now she needs to break the news to Josh. Now, Josh apparently actually had a drunk night himself. I'm like, oh, so, a lot of the tables have flipped. That's what the name of this episode should have been. Everything just flipped around in this episode because normally we see Katie getting drunk, and now we're talking about Josh's drunken night. Josh got drunk because he saw on the news. Now, I'm glad this conversation is finally happening on 90 Day. He sees on the news. He said he saw on the news about, obviously the immigration stuff going on in the U.S. and the mass deportations that are going on in the United States. And as an immigrant, he's very concerned and everything. So I'm glad that they're finally going to have this conversation. So he told Katie, like, what can I do like to feel welcome here? He's like, I do want to start my life here in the U.S., but am I welcome here? And she didn't really come for him that much. She just she's like, what can I do to make you feel comfortable? And I don't know, Katie just like being there for him, like making sure all his paperwork is in line and everything. And most important thing, how about love him unconditionally? That would make him feel comfortable living here, Katie. But no, she's just, instead of doing that, she wants to talk about the open marriage and stuff. And before we talk about that, I feel for Joshua because yeah, it's a scary. Obviously, it's a scary thing. Now he came here legally. He came here legally, so But even coming here legally, there's always still that fear of something, and and stuff. And again, I'm not going to go too deep into that because that's not what this is about. I don't do that. But when you're on the show 90 Day Fiance, and then and even it's reality TV, but in the real world with talking about an immigration show, basically, and having strict immigration rules in place from front office. Sometimes it's hard to avoid the conversation, but I don't want to go too deep in depth about it because I want to stick strictly to the episode. But I knew eventually that conversation was gonna happen here on 90 Day. So, but then unless Katie decides to ask him, like, do you feel like you, after a long time, want to like make out with other people? And Josh is just like, you know what? I don't follow. And he's just like, do you think we'll get bored with each other and just want to like see other people? And he was like, you know what? I get it. He's like, I know what she's trying to imply. She's trying to imply an open relationship. Josh basically said, I did not sign up for an open relationship when I came to the US. And it's basically a flat out no. It's a flat out no. He doesn't want to do it. I mean, he tried to explain himself. Katie tried to explain himself, but he just flat out no. I did not come here to America for an open relationship and everything. I did not sign a contract to do that. And he said that maybe wants a contract for that. He's not doing that. Mm-mm. And I don't blame him. Now, people have been calling Joshua a simp this whole season, but he is finally starting to stick up for himself. He's like, here we go with this BS. And if she can't handle this, then I will go back to the UK. There's no doubt about that. So I'm proud of Joshua for finally standing up for himself and just telling Katie, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this at all. So we're not gonna have an open relationship, and you're just gonna have to accept it, and she's gonna have to. So can she be loyal? And now, judging by the previews of next week, we're going to see Joshua's family come to America for the wedding. So yeah, and she's going to say, "I vow to be faithful to him." I'm like, well, we would hope you want to be faithful to him. Just saying, just saying. So yeah, that was Katie and Josh. The next couple I want to talk is Debbie and Mito. We got to see Debbie and Mito. Debbie and Mito has been like everybody's favorite couple this season. They brought the drama, they brought the entertainment. So 2 weeks ago, Mito proposed to Debbie at that wedding venue after he didn't look like he was thrilled to be there and said that he was going back home. This episode, Debbie and Mita decided to take a cooking class because Debbie cooks, but I guess she doesn't cook that well. Mita knows how to cook a little bit better, but he just lets Debbie cook. So they take a cooking class and everything, and they make, I guess they make some kind of pasta or whatever, and some kind of crabs and stuff and everything in New Orleans and everything. They told the cooking instructor about what happened at the wedding venue. She's like, yeah, the wedding instructor asked her, what are we celebrating here today? And she's like, oh, we're engaged. We were at a wedding venue and he was talking about wanting to go back home. And then I started crying and he proposed to me. I thought that was terrible how he did that, but and the instructor was like, oh, that's romantic. You guys got a romantic thing going on. Oh, that's so cute and everything. So they take the cooking class. They didn't argue. They didn't fuss or fight or anything. And they're actually literally a couple days away from the wedding. I thought Thomas and Paula were going to be the first to get married, but I think Debbie and Mita will be the first to get married of all couples, basically. So after that, Debbie and Mita had a heart-to-heart conversation. She's saying that she's going to go to the flower shop and they want to get married and everything. And finally, and this is one of those things where everything got flipped around in this episode. Debbie had told Mito. Debbie told Mito that she loves him very much. And for the first time this whole season, Mito told Debbie, I love you too. I was like, what? Mito actually said it back. Mito actually told Debbie that he loves her. Oh, you of course know that she was excited excited for that and everything. So wow, I wasn't expecting that. There was no cockiness about it. It felt genuine too. And I thought there was no acting because I thought he was just going to say that just to say that, but it actually did feel genuine. Now I'm probably giving Mita a little bit too much grace here, just based on how his behavior was throughout the whole season. But I'll take every little bit I can get, every nice little thing I can get. It's been a long, stressful season with them, but they're finally coming around. So now, preparing for this wedding, they don't have nothing done. They're only a day away, and they ain't got nothing done. She don't have a dress. She has to go to the flowers shop to get the flowers, and she had mentioned that she's only going to have like a really small knit wedding. They're going to go to this like little hotel place and just have literally her kids be at the wedding. Her son, Caden, and her daughter Devin. Now, Caden, he is in school and has a job. He's 24, and Caden is Debbie's world, she said. And she does not want to get married without Caden. Well, and we'll talk more about that in a sec. So Debbie told me that she has to go to the flower shop, and she's meeting up with her girlfriends. Remember the girlfriends that Mita got into it at the haunted house thing? Mita was just like, okay. And she asked Mita, do you want to come and try to make amends? And he's like, no. I have not forgiven them. I have not forgiven them or forgotten what happened that night at the haunted house. Like, so no, good luck, have fun. She's like, all right. So she meets up with the girls, and she shows the girls the ring. Like, look, I mean, yeah, we're getting married in one day, and they're like, wait, huh? Huh? So the girls expressed their concerns. They were just like, well, do you are you sure you want to do this? He's not being mean to you. He's not telling you to shut your mouth again. And she was like, no, he's not, and everything. Things have been a lot better these last couple of weeks and everything. And then she was just, but Debbie did say that we do have some hurdles, and I do wish that we had 6 months instead of 3 months, which I do agree. I do agree. They should have had 6 months instead of three. She was like, you can still change your mind. And she's like, it's too late at this point. But then they started talking about Caden, and Debbie had told her friends that, it's just going to be my kids at the wedding. And her friends were like, wait, we can't come. She's like, I'm sorry, guys. You know me, I'm not all into the big whole theatrics of it. I'm just that type of person who just wants something small, basically, and everything. We're like, okay, but whatever. So Debbie gets a text message from Caden, and it said that he has to work tomorrow night. And everybody's just like, wait, what? And so Debbie said, like I said, Debbie said that she does not want to get married without Caden. Now, she said that she has not met Mito with his schedule yet, but she does. She's heard all the everything I guess he's heard all the stuff that's gone on between them. So I think he feels a certain type of way, but we haven't heard from his side yet. So she asked Kaden, like, can you tell your bosses that your mother's getting married? And even her friends was like, yeah, like, your mom getting married is a big deal. Do you think that they will like give you some grace for it? You're a college worker and stuff and everything. So she starts crying and just has a fit. She's just like, I don't know if I can do this without Kate in there. And she's gonna have that conversation with Mita. Even Mita's just like, what kind of son doesn't want to be there for their mother and everything? So everything has been like I said, this whole episode has been flopped because normally we see like Mito coming up with excuses why he don't want to marry Debbie. Now Debbie's about to come up with something not to want to marry Mito. Even back with Marissa and Edward, Marissa's normally having hard conversations that Edward don't want to hear, and now it's flopped where Edward's having a conversation where Marissa didn't want to hear and stuff. And Katie and Josh, normally we see Katie getting drunk. This time we were talking about Josh's drunken night. So it's been a flip flopping of an episode with these couples and stuff. So So yeah, that's where we left off with Debbie and Mito. And then the last couple I want to discuss is Asia and Maxwell. So we just seen Asia, we didn't see Maxwell. We seen Asia and Maxwell's sister Blaze go out and get some outfits for the wedding and everything. They go and try on some stuff. And Blaze had told Aisha that she's just worried about Maxwell and your relationship, and she was like, "Why?" Because like, is he doing this for you? Is he doing this for himself, or is he just doing all this to make you happy? And Aisha even admitted that she feels that Maxwell is like probably doing all this stuff to make me happy, but she got frustrated at Blaze for questioning everything because she brought us something in the Bible and said and just talked about I forget the story. It had something to do with Peter in the Bible, but she said that basically it's just basically a lot of blockage, and she compared Blaze to what happened in the Bible and told Blaze that she's basically like blocking everything. And Blaze is just like, no, I just want Maxwell to be happy. I want you guys to be happy. And Asia said, look, you're married and you have kids and stuff, and that's what I want. That's basically what I want. You can go home to that. So don't try to block me from that and everything. And Asia's just like, you know what? I think it's my god brother, and I'm getting into Maxwell's family's head again. So we already got past the age thing, and because Asia even told Blaze that, look, I know I'm a little bit older, but being older has its perks. I have more wisdom. I have more knowledge. I can do this. I can show him. I can help him with the process and the transition from here to America and everything. She's like, again, I just want him to be happy. So later we seen Asia talk to Rod and I forget the other girl's name. They meet up to have a conversation about everything. And like the girlfriend said that she look, your mom and your sisters ain't gonna tell you. I just feel like you're rushing things and everything. And Asia is just stuck in her mind. She's like, I don't feel like I'm rushing. You guys have your families that you guys can go home. You guys can even book a ticket to go back to your families. I want that. And I'm not going to do that. Like, if you guys are like in the way of that and everything, I want to marry Maxwell and everything. And then Rod jumping, and then Rod is jumping and say, like, are you sure this is really what you want to do and stuff and everything? And she's like, yes. And then she had brought up, postpartum is I have a ticking time bomb basically with postpartum and everything. And so like my time is really limited basically. So Rod was like, oh, so this is what it's about. You're so eager to have somebody's last name. And not only that, you're eager to get knocked up and everything. And she was like, yeah, well, again, we're on the ticking time bomb and stuff and everything. And it just, the argument just went nowhere. Rod was just expressing his concerns. He was just like, he kind of said something kind of wrong too. Rod said that when he had a conversation with Maxwell, he just feels like Maxwell is really not all that hardworking and doesn't have like the credentials that Rod has and stuff and everything. But didn't Asia go on social media and say that Maxwell has his like truck driver's license and he has like so many credentials and stuff and everything. And Rod was just like, he don't have it as much as I do and everything. So I think Rod, I'm not saying obviously Rod don't have no feelings for Asia, but I feel like Rod is like trying to like one up him on a lot of things. Now, I know Rod is just not too thrilled about being in Nigeria because I think he has that perception that basically every Nigerian man is a scammer and stuff and everything. But Asia is convinced that Maxwell is not like that. And then Rob was just like going on and on and on about it, and then he like banged his hand on the table, and out of frustration, and then Ace was like, "Oh no, baby, you getting violent? Oh, we don't do that now, boy. I'm getting you violent. I don't do that. You lost your mind. No way. Oh, Asia, quit talking like that. Oh, it's either the blood, the blood, the blood. Oh no, we don't do blindlings. I don't know why she always talks like that, but and yeah, that's where we left off. But there's what Asia and Maxwell are supposed to be getting married in one day, and yeah, I think we're going through with this wedding. So I mean, she is determined. So I wonder if Maxwell does make it to America. We shall see. But that was basically it, you guys. We did not see Mallory and Rashi in this episode, nor did we see Shay and Annabelle in this episode. We'll see them more next week. We're going to be meeting Shay's other daughter next week. So, and she's going to meet Annabelle, and there's going to be some looks and stuff. So I can't wait to talk about that. Um, Mallory and Raj are still going to have a conversation about not wanting to have kids and Raj wanting to go back to Turkey. So we'll see more of that. And Paula trying on wedding dresses and uncertainty. So, yeah. But yeah, that was basically it, you guys. Yeah, that is the end of my review, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. To all of my new subscribers, thank you so much for joining this channel. To the people who um, have to all my new subscribers, I hope you guys enjoy my content. I try to bring like the best genuine, authentic content I possibly can. I appreciate all the love and support from you guys. This is just, doing this is just so much fun. It really is. Some days I'm really tired right now because I've been doing video after video after video for the last couple of weeks. So I'm a little tired. So, but I appreciate you guys' love and support. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back on tomorrow or Tuesday to recap 90 Day to Last Resort, and then Little Singles, and then more Married at First Sight. So I do know for Little Singles, we only got 2 more episodes left. So Little Singles will be wrapping up soon. And yeah. Anyway, guys, I will see y'all again soon. I love you guys. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.